One of the most prevalent ways we convey information in the business environment is using slides made with popular software, such as PowerPoint or Prezi. Our slides are important visuals, and as such, they should be designed carefully and with our viewing audience in mind. So beyond these basics, here are some additional guiding principles that will help you create effective visuals, particularly for your presentations. First, each visual should make or contain only one main point. Next, your audience should not have to figure out the point of the visual. It should be obvious. Eliminate noise, as much noise as possible, and preferably all of it. When you try to convey several messages in one visual, you just end up confusing your audience. So make sure that each slide conveys only one main message. Your visual conveys a message, supports a point, or asserts something. And it's your job to make sure that it's crystal clear, and that begins with the title. Don't just put a generic 1 or 2 words in that title slide. Create a full sentence that tells your audience the main point. This is called the assertion evidence approach to slides, and it's being adopted by major technical and engineering universities to help audiences better understand technical presentations. Jean-Luc Demas says the title should convey or answer the question, "So what?" for the audience. Think about it. If the audience has to take time to figure out what your chart or graph or visual means, then they're not listening to you. Let's look at 2 examples. The first one doesn't explain what the slide is about. It doesn't answer the "so what." Here's the second one. Read that title. Now you know exactly what the presenter's main message is. You don't have to study the visual and try to figure it out. As we've said before, we want the audience to be able to clearly see the objects in our visuals. This is also true for your slides. Unfortunately, many people try to put way too much information in their slides, and that just makes for a lot of noise. So let's get the noise out of our slides. First, don't load them up with text. If people are reading the text on your slides, then they are not listening to you. A lot of people do this not to help their audience, but to use them as notes. Well, that's nice for the presenter, but wow, does it create a lot of needless noise for the audience. Text is not a quick and clear way to express a concept. A picture is. So try and use one. And if you must use text, use it sparingly. Next, if you do have a visual, make sure it's clean and with no background images or a lot of titles or labels. When using bar charts or graphs, leave out the XY axis lines in the background. These bars are noise. Eliminate them. Finally, let's talk about color in charts and graphs specifically. In the book, The Wall Street Journal Guide to Information Graphics, The Do's and Don'ts of Presenting Data, Facts, and Figures, author Donna Wong says that every time you change the color in a chart or graph, you are signaling a change to your audience, so choose them wisely. She goes on to offer some excellent do's and don'ts for charts and graphs, and here they are. Use the same color to represent the same variable throughout your charts and graphs, but don't use a lot of different colors to represent the same kind of data. For example, if you've used blue to represent temperature in this chart, stick with it in all of your charts which represent temperatures. Do use graduating shades of one color or colors on the same side of the color wheel. But don't use colors on the opposite side of the color wheel. It creates too much contrast for the audience. Do use colors to reflect a tone. For example, green can represent the environment or nature. But don't use color themes like red and green to show Christmas sales. Do use colors that are generally accepted norms, and don't go against those norms. For example, don't use red to show positive numbers. When numbers are in the red, it means they're negative or at a loss, and the opposite is true of black. Okay, we've just completed our unit on designing effective visuals. We've talked about 7 basic design principles: proximity, balance, alignment, repetition, contrast, space, and color. And we talk specifically about 4 more guiding principles for slides. Make sure to take the quiz and complete the exercise for this unit before moving on to the next one. Happy designing!